The real strategic failure of our time. What follows is an introduction to a forthcoming long-form essay, Rethinking Strategy for the 21st Century, Strategic Learning, Our Way Through Complexity, Uncertainty and Crises. It also relates to my recently launched book, an online book launch event on Thursday the 8th of January at 6:30 GMT, and a 10-module introductory program of videos and live online dialogues starting in February. Strategic learning reinvents strategy as a management discipline fit for the 21st century. It includes new ways of thinking about leading and practicing strategy that are practical, and it comes with new methods and tools. The focus is not on helping leaders become better strategists, though it will do that. The focus is on ensuring strategy is driven by learning that happens at every level across organizations and the wider systems that they're part of, and that it happens iteratively and continuously, not episodically. So let's get on with the introduction. Across business, government, and civil society, strategy appears to be everywhere, and everywhere it appears to be failing with remarkable consistency. Organizations produce plans, frameworks, roadmaps, and visions at unprecedented speed. Leaders are better educated, better informed, and better supported by data than at any point in history, and still outcomes routinely fall short. Policies unravel on contact with reality. Corporate strategies age prematurely, and institutional responses to crises repeatedly underperform. The usual explanations come quickly. Execution failed, politics intervened, the data wasn't complete, leadership wasn't strong enough. These explanations are not wrong, but they are insufficient. They describe the symptoms, not the causes. Over the past 2 decades, some of the most serious thinkers on strategy and leadership have already recognized that the traditional model's broken. Stephen Bungay argues that strategy cannot survive as a detailed plan in conditions of uncertainty and must instead be understood as intent, framework for decision making that evolves through action. Strategy, he writes, is the evolution of an original guiding idea under constantly changing circumstances. Stanley McChrystal reaches a similar conclusion from the battlefield, showing that hierarchical command and control structures fail against network adversaries and must be replaced by shared consciousness and empowered execution. Red team thinking, as articulated by Bryce Hoffman, exposes how cognitive bias, groupthink, and false certainty undermine decision making. These approaches represent genuine advances. They move away from rigid planning, they acknowledge uncertainty, they emphasize adaptability, decentralization, and learning through action. They all reject the illusion that complex environments can be controlled from the center. They're not wrong, but they remain partial responses to a deeper failure. The real problem is that most organizations lack the institutional capacity to learn strategically, continuously, and at scale. Bungay is explicit that strategy must close the knowledge gap, the alignment gap, and the effects gap. He also argues that intent allows organizations to adapt their actions as reality unfolds. But the learning process itself remains largely implicit. It depends on capable individuals, disciplined leaders, and well-designed briefing structures. McChrystal similarly shows that shared consciousness enables faster, better decisions, but it's built within a single, tightly bound organization under conditions of extreme authority, urgency, and mission clarity. Red team thinking improves decision quality, but it remains episodic, advisory, and focused on discrete choices rather than on ongoing evolution of collective understanding. What all three approaches still assume implicitly is that strategy happens within an organization and that learning, once enabled, will somehow take care of itself. That assumption no longer holds. The 21st century is defined by radical uncertainty. Problems don't stay within organizational, sectoral, or national boundaries. Cause and effect are nonlinear. Crises overlap and amplify one another. Technologies, behaviors, and expectations co-evolve in real time. In McChrystal's words, we're no longer dealing with complicated problems that yield to expertise, but with generally complex systems that demand adaptability over efficiency. Under these conditions, strategy fails not because decisions are poorly made, but because institutions can't update their understanding fast enough to remain aligned with reality. This is the strategic failure of our time. The rate of change in the systems organizations are trying to navigate now routinely exceeds our capacity to interpret what is happening, revise our assumptions, and coordinate effective responses. Strategy becomes a source of false confidence rather than guidance. Decisions are taken with conviction on outdated premises. Plans are executed efficiently in the wrong direction. Institutions appear coherent until they collapse. This is not primarily a failure of leadership or execution, it's a failure of institutional learning. This failure cannot be solved by better leaders alone. No individual, however capable, can see enough of the systems or adapt quickly enough to compensate for an organization that cannot learn. McChrystal acknowledges that empowered execution only works when shared consciousness is constantly renewed. Bungay shows that intent must be continually reinterpreted as effects emerge. Red teaming reveals how easily even intelligent people fool themselves. The implication is unavoidable. Strategy must now be designed not as a plan, nor even as intent, but as a learning system. Strategic learning treats strategy not as a one time act of choice, nor as a leadership philosophy, but as a distributed institutional capability for decision making under radical uncertainty. Strategy succeeds or fails not by the brilliance of individuals or the elegance of frameworks, but by whether an organization and the systems that it's a part of can A. surface weak signals early, B. question and revise their own assumptions, C. integrate diverse forms of intelligence, D. learn from action in real time, E. adapt coherently without waiting for certainty. This goes beyond Bungay by making learning explicit, designed, and measurable rather than implicit. It goes beyond McChrystal by extending shared consciousness beyond single organizations to wider ecosystems in which strategy actually plays out. And it goes beyond red team thinking by enabling and embedding challenge and reflection in continuous collective sense making rather than treating them as episodic interventions. Seen this way, strategy is no longer something leaders do periodically, nor something organizations write down and implement. It's an ongoing learning process, one that must involve everyone across boundaries, and it must operate continuously if organizations are to remain viable. The argument is therefore simple but demanding. The strategic failures of the 21st century are not primarily failures of intelligence, intent, or effort. They are failures of learning. And until organizations and the systems they inhabit learn how to learn strategically faster than the world around them is changing, no amount of planning, empowerment, or challenge will be enough. This introduction and the full essay that follows are an attempt to rethink strategy accordingly. My recent book expands on the essay in much more detail, and the 10-module introductory program gives you the opportunity to join dialogues designed to help you think through this with a global audience of people interested in establishing a more complete understanding. Join me this Thursday for the book launch event if you'd like to know more, or check out some of the recent posts on the Enlightened Enterprise magazine publication on Substack.